Hey, look at this. Back in the saddle, Wes Wyatt.
The boys are back in town.
It doesn't even get better than that, does it?
It
I, I'm, I'm
doesn't.
a, I'm a little. I used to just get blinded by your slightly bald head. Okay, it's not slightly. Come on, but that bright white on the face is a little different look, but I like it.
It is, and I will apologize to the people that watch us in advance. This Friday will be the 20th. On the 23rd, no, the 25th, I'll get my teeth fixed. So if you see a snaggle tooth sticking out, I broke off all but that crown. All the other veneers popped right out of my mouth, and I can explain where they went, but why they went here in a second when we talk. But yeah, Randy, it's been I was telling Jules on the way here, I just literally got out of cardiac rehab, and you'd asked me how things are going. I believe this one was my fifth or sixth visit, and I have 36 of them. So, lots and lots of doctor's appointments and follow-ups and people that may or may not know what happened. I'll explain it here in a second as well. But this was on the way here. I think we'd had a couple in the can, so it's probably been at least 3 months, if not 3.5, since we've done one of these.
I would say that's right because yeah, we had three in the can just before you went down, shall we say? And
Yeah.
yeah, as a probably literally, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we had three in the can, and it's been a while. So as I was mentioning to you before we started recording, that the biggest thing to me, man, is that we're just talking. I mean, whether we got back to ever doing this podcast or not was absolutely zero meaningless to me. I mean, I'm glad we're doing it. You don't take that the wrong way, but I'm just blessed that you're back and amongst as you say, what do you call that? Your O2 habit or whatever. I like the way you
I
say
say I have my beloved oxygen habit, and
that.
to quote the great Les Brown, it's better to be seen than viewed. Yeah.
True. That's
So
true. So officially, welcome back, man. It's great to have you
yeah,
back
thank you.
together.
And I got to tell you, Randy. Now in this particular case, I am a big guy, and you always make a joke about me being a food stealer and whatnot. But my situation that happened wasn't actually due to food. It was because of a vitamin or a C protein deficiency is what they call it. And so on November 15th, I was sitting in the chair and just something didn't feel right. Just felt very, very odd. And, they always tell you to listen to your body. And, my body was telling me that just something just wasn't right. So I took blood pressure, and it was not good. And I told my son, I said, my wife said, well, why don't you go to mom's house and see what her says? And I said, Jules, I don't think I've got that time. I said, we need to go. So I had my son drive me to the hospital, which in retrospect was probably not a good idea, just because so many things could have happened. But we got there, and he said, Mr. Wyatt, you're having a heart attack. So you need to, we're going to be moving very fast and furious here. So you just need to, just kind of go with the flow here. And they started stripping me down and throwing wires on me and this and that and the other thing. And so they took me to St. Rita's Hospital. That day was very windy. And when they took me, they were cussing and honking and putting the lights on and chirping people, and they were trying their level best to draft behind trucks because it was so windy. And the funniest thing happened. I haven't even told you this story. So he goes, and I said, "Man, he goes, how are you?" And I said, "I'm good." I said, "It's a little rough." He goes, "Well," you'll notice you're strapped in at your feet, your waist and your chest. He goes, "You're at the safest spot you can be in if we flip over." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, that's probably not something you tell to a heart attack person, because now that's all I was thinking about is,
Exactly.
can that happen? Are we going to flip over?
You're worried about surviving a heart attack, and this guy might kill you in an
That's
accident,
right.
right?
That's right. I'm going to be upside down, but I'm safe. I'm the safest one in
Yeah.
the car
Oh.
that he tells me. So we get there, and from the 15th to the 19th, actually the 20th, 5 days, I had four casts, and they wrecked me up very, very badly. But they finally got about 80% of the blockage and figured out that, again, it is a C protein deficiency. So they got that done, and I went into a flat position for 5 days. Couldn't move, couldn't do nothing. Literally couldn't lift my arm, wiggle my feet because of clots, and so very, very rough. 5 days, and then 5 days to follow, and then just through the grace of God, I was able to get up and walk around. And they said, well, if you can walk around and do the stairs, we'll let you out. So I was able to get out at the 2 days before Thanksgiving. And when Thanksgiving, I apologize for sounding a little hoarse, guys. When I talk a little, I'll explain why here in a second, but I get a little hoarse. But I come home, and I was home for less than 24 hours. And then I got to find out what a real good heart attack felt like, because I had another one. And I had that the day before Thanksgiving. And so when I had that heart attack, I called the squad, and Jules knew that it was real because I'm cheap. And so they called the squad, and once again, I was having a major heart attack. This one was a doozy. And so I got there, and they took me straight to the same place again, not directly to our local hospital. We just went right to St. Rita's. And when I got there, I was having a major heart attack, and they did a heart cath, and I have a blockage on my RCA, which is called the right coronary artery. It's the opposite of the left, which, not to sound funny, I know you guys know that, but the left one is the widowmaker. So that's the one that, if you're going to have a really bad heart attack, generally that's where it sneaks up on you, is that one. And that one is called that because of what it does. It usually makes people a widow unless they catch it very, very quickly. So it's not that one that's plugged. A lot of people have asked me, but the problem that I have, and I think I've actually discussed this with you before, Randy, was 5 years ago when my mom died. I went to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack. It was broken heart is what it actually was.
Right. I remember
But
that.
they did a heart cath, and they figured out that I had no plaque and no blockages whatsoever. But the problem that they found was that most people have a 3 millimeter arteries. Mine are 10. So they can't stent them. They can't stent them. They can't do the basket. They can't do any of the stuff that you hear people have. I didn't have to have the cabbage, where they open you up. But they figured that now the way things are working, and I'll go into what else happened, but and I'll just tell you what else, and I'll tell you where we stand. But during the last time, I had a stroke. So when I had the stroke, I also got a brain bleed. So while I had the brain bleed, my platelets dropped very, very, very low. I had 2 platelet transfusions, and both of them failed. And then after the failure of that, my platelets went to 0. Now, when they go to 0, you have one step beyond that, which is -1, and that's brain damage or death. So at 0, you're in very, very, very dire straits. So they decided to put me into a coma and intubate me. So when you're intubated, you're, basically on the intubation tube. That's when the teeth happen. So I bit my teeth off on the hose, and was intubated for 2.5 weeks. And so my daughter and son and wife had to come in every day and kind of wonder if I was going to wake up. And yeah, I think you were getting regular messages from Jules and the kids, and so that things were very touch and go.
Yes.
And
Yes, I
so
was.
when I got intubated, since God loves to give me challenges, I also got pneumonia. And so, and then I also got a brain bleed, or like a staph infection on the back of my head, because while they had me intubated, I was sweating profusely. So they were trying to keep my temperature down, and I was sweating and had ice water running off my head. And so laying in that caused a staph infection. So when I finally got out, I essentially had to relearn, how to walk and sit up and, everything. So, not to try to sound funny, you said, it's good to be sitting here talking and stuff, but I mean, really, Randy, I mean, I'm not a burning bush or a sea splitting, but I'm a miracle.
Yeah.
I'll play a video over this when we're while we're talking, and when this actually airs. I was just number one, I lost 70 pounds through the time that I was in the hospital, which was all of 2 months. But the other thing is that like I said, I was in a situation where if you, when you see the video that I'll put up over this, I couldn't sit up, I couldn't raise my hands, I had this look on my face. If you've ever seen somebody that's a paraplegic, they have almost like it's almost like they're staring into the abyss, kind of like a very, very like out in the middle of nowhere stare, if that makes any sense. And I had it. They would stand me up and I would fall down. And the brain bleed caused my vertigo to go into just hyperspace. So I would stand up and I would immediately just start getting dizzy. My pupils would turn, two different, colors, and I would just go out for the count. And so I was actually wondering, the second time around, if I was even going to get to come home. I mean, there were days, and I'll say day, where I really, really thought, man, am I ever going to get out of here? Yeah, I mean, because the physical therapy was, well, they'd have you like do something like stand up and down in a chair, 10 times in 30 seconds, without any hands. And that sounds great to someone that can do it. But when you are in that situation where you've, kind of relearning everything, it's a very, very weird situation. So, but now, today, we were talking about this in the beginning. I don't know if we were on camera yet or if we were off camera, but I've completed 5, if not 6, of cardiac rehab, and I have 36 of them total. And I'm here. I'm walking around. I'm able to do pretty much everything that I could do, previously, maybe a lot slower. My hand has got a very prominent, what they call a tremor in it, that I hit things by accident, which is not real fun when you type for a living, because I hit weird things. But the biggest thing that is, kind of still an issue, but I'll make light of it, is I have a complete blockage in my RCA. It's filled again. It's not plaque. It's blood clots is what's causing it. So blood clots just immediately fill. It's that C protein deficiency. And then I have a clot in my right leg, both arms, and my lungs. The lungs is the one that it could be an issue, but it's not right now, so we're not going to worry about it. But That one can go south. If it goes north, you can go south, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll get these teeth fixed on the 25th temporarily. They'll put in um, temp crowns, and then I'll get the real thing 30 or 40 days afterwards. But the reason I sound so hoarse is for the 2.5 weeks I had a tube down my throat for the intubation. So it did something. I don't know what, but it scratched a vocal cord or something. And then I was telling you off camera, the war room here is absolutely destroyed. So I apologize about all the clutter around me, but the kids and Jules were looking for stuff when I was in the hospital and just kind of went through like they were tossing the room like on a cop show or something. And then I'm really not allowed to do any lifting and stuff to get things put back together. But soon the old war room will look a little better, and every day I'm getting better and better and better. And but I'm glad to be here, Randy, because you know it's it could have went wildly different. And I left. If you've ever been in the hospital with somebody that gave birth, I've been blessed with it twice. And Jules pushes babies out like it's her job. And we would go in, and there would be people that come in after us that were still in labor when we left. I mean, and she was able to just have these babies very quickly. And unfortunately, I had a lot of people that were in rehab with me that they and their families did not have the same situation as me, especially the ones that had a stroke. The stroke was a weird thing, because even though I had a stroke and a full brain bleed, I mean full, like the entire brain just soaked. I got I won't say lucky. I was just blessed. There was just I'm sure somewhere my guardian angels are all sitting around smoking cigarettes, huffing and puffing, because I put them through it. So yeah, it was interesting. But anyway, I just spoke for what feels like forever about myself. How are you doing, Randu?
Oh man, I'm good, and that's what I wanted to. I wanted you to get your story out because as you probably are aware, as soon as the news broke, so to speak, I know you're seeing a lot of stuff, and this speaks highly of you. I don't know how many calls and texts of people that we know together checking in every day with me, just about what's going on in the West, how's West doing, and you know. I think, and just listening to you today, I talked to Carson several times that you didn't even know because you're still out of it there. And I don't even think she led me to believe that some of the severity of what he was going through at the time. So it was, and it's interesting because, we talk about with our podcast here that we do together in the title, and we talk about building wins, and it's not just sales or business wins, it's personal, it's spiritual, it's health and fitness. And yeah, you nailed several of those on this one. I mean, there don't get any bigger win than this, right, buddy?
Yeah, it's a total win, and the thing that I took away from it was a couple things, and I'm gonna probably try to be very short with this because
Yep.
it's insanely emotional. But whew, man,
We got all the time you need, man.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Take your time, brother.
Yeah. Whew. We man. Sorry, Randy.
Hey, dude, we don't need to do this right now if you don't want to, man.
No,
Really don't.
it needs to be said.
Okay.
Um, while I was in the hospital, a a great friend of the industry and the podcast, Cindy Kirpley, her dad Jerry, uh, uh, he, pardon me. So, sorry guys. Uh, he was he was going through something very, very similar to me, and he didn't make it. Yes. So he, um, people like Cindy, uh, they were reaching out to me when, they were dealing with um, losing, the the patriarch of their family. So she was, pardon me, very much like Carson, in that aspect. And meanwhile, she's checking in on me, and she told me uh, that, whew, man, she wanted me to go out there and live for Jerry, So, whew, just, you said people were reaching out. My mother-in-law said, with as many people that are praying and, you know, have you in their prayer chains and their thoughts and, everything, you should run out of the hospital. And boy, did I, I mean, like I said, people like Cindy, it went the other way. So, and granted, Jerry was older than me. I turned 57 in the hospital. I missed everything. Luckily, I missed that Ohio State game. You can make fun of me about that. Not a lot to miss. I should have stayed in a coma. But the situation could have went so wildly different. So that was a lot of weeping and a lot of time spent to give you the answer of, boy, is it a win? It's a win that John Addison, a great speaker. If you guys don't know him, follow him. He says you need to live every day like it's your last, because one of these days you'll be right. So we used to talk around the living room with the kids, and they'd say something. I'd say, don't, we're not leaving this house mad. We're not gonna, get petty about things. I said, because here's the thing. I said, we're not promised tomorrow. And that has been literally, transformed to, we're not guaranteed the next moment. When I had the second heart attack, it come out of nowhere. I mean, I was sitting there enjoying being home, for the not even 24 hours, and boom. I mean, it come on like a freight train. I mean, I felt like I had, a circus elephant sitting on my chest, and, the tingling and the jaw, going completely numb. And I mean, just knew, that I was in dire straits. Right. And so these wins that we talk about, they have a building background, of foundations and, putting in poles right and pouring concrete correctly and how to, fix it up and all that kind of stuff. And that industry stuff is phenomenal, and people do need to hear it and people want to hear it. But these wins that we have, and not just mine. I mean, the authors, the speakers, um, just the people that went through something and come out on the other side. All this stuff should be something that when you hear it, you don't just let it go in one ear and out the other, because I can tell you that, now the things that, were the little things that I should have just completely, been oblivious to, are now very, very much so, something that if it's out of my control, I don't mess around with it. I mean,
Yes.
I figure, I'm not gonna waste good time worrying about something that's probably not even gonna happen.
Right.
So there's a lot more hugs. There's a lot more I love yous. We did that before, but there's a lot more checking in and just you know being thankful, because as you can probably tell, that Cindy thing wrecked me. When
Yeah.
she told me to go out and live for Jerry, her dad, and I see these pictures of them standing next to Corvettes and whatnot. And if you guys know Cindy, she's a tough lady.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, she's the epitome of just tough businesswoman. And for her to get emotional with me and ask me, how I'm doing and all the things that she did, it moved me. Just I mean, it just took me out. So especially since I was in the same situation, it really it touched my heart, and um, just made me feel like $1 million, because I should have been the last thing she was worried about. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, so we have a great community, Randy. The people that we've been able to touch and meet and just cross intersect with has been just amazing. I mean, I think about the people that we've gotten to sit down with digitally and in person, and man, we shouldn't be allowed such great lives.
You are right there. It's been it's such a great run, and it's I got nothing to add to what you said. Nobody could say what you just said better. But it it's amazing the amount of people that come out of, I don't want to say the woodwork, but um, this is the first I heard this story about. And as you know, I know Cindy well. We work together, and to this is the first I heard that story. I knew what she was going through, and I would talk to her about what was going on with her dad, and we'd have some back and forth, and but never once did she mention any of this, and that's a tribute to that was real. She wasn't doing that just to sound good, right? She was doing that because she really did care. So, it's a you unintentionally uh, are bringing the idea of what you just talked about of wins being spiritually and being the health and fitness thing and caring about people and all those things to the forefront. And I wish you would not have had any of this, but at the same token, wow, it's a story that needs to be heard uh, over and over, because I don't think anybody that hasn't went through what you went through, and you and I are great buddies, pals, brothers, and everything, but and I was fairly somewhat privy to what was going on, talking to your family, but I don't know, that probably still a tenth of what was going on, right? And so that story needs to be told, just because it's important to remember those things you just talked about, man. And
Yeah, I mean, because I got to tell you, Randy, we are only guaranteed, you know, whatever the good Lord has
mhm.
deemed, uh, the time. I
Yep.
I hope that there's a guy out there named Miles Monroe
Mhm.
that he's passed away, years ago, but he was a pastor in the Bahamas, and he used to always talk about dying empty. And I hope that, the Lord saw that I had a lot more to give, that I haven't died empty yet. So, but that resonates with me so much more now, than it ever did. It lights a fire. Sorry, I bumped my microphone, but it lit a fire underneath me that, you know, whether I'm at these cardiac appointments or, whatever the case may be, it is very, at the forefront of what I do, just because I know, at this point I'm not going to do something that's going to cause the other side, to get, messed up. But with the clots that I have and the blockage that I have, as much as I hate to say it, and I'm a very positive person, you guys all, hopefully know this. I know you know it. But right now I am on borrowed time. I mean, every moment, could be, especially, not to sound morbid, but the ones in my chest, when you have clots in your lungs, they go to your brain and it's bye-bye. You might not die, but you're going to have a problem. So what I'm going to be doing is what I've always done, Randy, which is, John Edison's, what I told you, live every day like it's your last. And, one of these days I'll be right. I mean, so I'm not good, but I'm also not going to worry about it, because there's no, you can't do that. If you sit around and worry about stuff that could happen, you miss out on what's happening. And,
Right
because of that, I'm not going to not show up, to do this kind of stuff. I mean, it was funny. And yeah, I know you get told this because we've talked about this before when you said you go to high school, reunions and this and that. And there's a couple things that I pulled from that I pull from now as well. And that is, they say, man, you're lucky to you. And you and I have talked about this. There's no luck to it. It's all, it's the hybrid road warrior didn't get built by luck. I mean, it got built by stringing together a lot of wins with a lot of great people over a lot of decades. That is the quote unquote luck of it. It was built by just sheer willpower, and the same thing is true of, the idea of the second thing, and that is I went to, every place I walk in, and when I say this, I'm not trying to make myself out to be a superstar, so don't take this for anything more than what it is. But whether it was a nurse that saw me at the beginning of my heart attacks, a doctor that was working the cath and whatever, my neighbors, my banker, whoever it is I've seen in the last, I've made all of about maybe, I don't know, I've probably been out of the house, in public 4 times since I got home, because I'm not really allowed. But everybody that sees me looks like they saw a ghost. I mean, because the news that they were getting and the pictures, and I'll put some pictures and videos up over this when we're talking, but I was rough. I mean, just
Yeah.
that they see me and their eyes just light up and they're like, wow, you look great. And it's because they saw me at my absolute worst. And as I was saying it, once again, and I almost hate saying it because of the fact of, like, Cindy's father and many of the other people that I was hospitalized with, they didn't have this result. I don't know why I got blessed to move on when they didn't, but they just, I did. And I was at a neighbor's house just the other night, and I decided to go to a party because the neighbors had been so nice. They put yellow ribbons on our tree, and just, I mean, the things that they did for my family was amazing. So one of our neighbors was going to be going into elder care. And so I knew it was going to be the last times I saw her, and she and I were sharing the prayers and requests at church as well. So it's kind of like a dual thing. But when I went in, after everybody kind of got their, man, I'm so glad you're here and whatnot out of the way, you wouldn't believe how many of them said, well, now that you've went through all this, I guess you're probably going to retire. And I just kind of laughed because I got to tell you, Randy, I feel now that I have more to do and give and start than I did before it happened. Retiring is, I mean, number one, you and I spoke about this in ad nauseum, but I don't ever plan on retiring. It's not something that I ever want to do, but now I really don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to slow down, and because when you slow down, it seems like that's when something happens.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, the mindset, of some people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if they want to do that, that's fine. But I'm not gonna. I unless something, if one of these clots would decide to go and take out half my body, or keep me from being able to talk or type or something like that, then if I couldn't figure out one of those things that you move with your face, then maybe I'd quit. But I just don't see any time in the near future where I plan on doing that.
Well, and nor should you, because you got so much to offer and to bring, and so let's just keep bringing the stories, man. That's what we'll do. You and me back in the saddle. We'll keep bringing amazing stories every week, and it's going to take me a while to get used to that white thing on your face.
Yeah. My wife too. Believe me, she used to rail against it, but and I looked like Santa Claus when I was in the actual ICU and whatnot, because the sides were grown in as well.
Yeah. The full beard you did,
and a little bit on top, which was crazy. But I think it is a little bit to get used to, but I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I'm going to do a new rebranding, and I'll get my I call it my $1 million smile, but it's actually going to be about $5,000 a smile.
There you go.
Those crowns are expensive, but I will tell you, all the people that are out there, my particular situation wasn't due to plaque and cholesterol and stuff like that, but be nice to your ticker. You only get one. This last week, I should say, was the end of, I think it ended today actually, or it ends possibly Friday, but it's cardiac awareness week, I believe. And two things about that, and I'll let you, we'll stop, and I know we got another one coming up here, but I do another podcast called Warehouse Safety Tips. And one of the things that we always talk about is the not becoming sign blind in a warehouse. If you're driving a forklift, or you're taking a regular route, back and forth through a warehouse, or like, I'll give you a perfect example, and that's that behind the glass information that you see in every break room. I would be very surprised if they put the winning lottery numbers in those cases. Anybody would play them. And the reason why is because they see it every day, and you have the same thing in your home in the form of pictures. There are probably pictures in your home that you walk by every day, and you wouldn't be able to tell me who was in the picture if you tried. You might have a great idea, but you probably don't. And the reason why is because, quite literally, you're not paying attention to the signs. And the same is very true of our bodies. And the only reason I bring this up, guys, is there is so many people that, will try to be stoic and, say, well, I'll just sleep it off, or I'll just, hit yourself on the chest and say it's okay. But the truth of the matter is, if I hadn't have went to the hospital actually 3 times, I didn't mention the third time that I went in the squad. I thought that it was a heart attack hit me again, and it just ended up being that my blood levels, had dropped very badly from the thinners and stuff. But it wasn't a heart attack, but it was something that was still needed medical attention. So just make sure you pay attention to the signs, because boy, I gotta tell you, our bodies tell us stuff, and
Yeah.
if you don't listen, it can be a very bad situation. So, but anyway, guys, I want to let you know that we just went through a long time talking about things that happened to me, and our thoughts on some of the blessings behind it and whatnot. So it's been a little bit of a welcome back and a little bit of a ho hum show in that case, but I hope that you guys, get past the sappiness of it and realize, that it is the ultimate win. Like Randy said, I got my oxygen habit. I'm here doing my podcast, buddy, pal, great best friend, situation again. And it's all just because of being blessed. So,
Exactly.
and that's a win.
That's a big win. And I will say, and then we'll get out of here before you make me start crying or some stupid thing. It's great to have you back, my brother. I'm blessed. Everybody's blessed to have you, and we'll forgive the beard, and we'll keep building wins, man. You and me together, and all
Yes,
the great guests
indeed.
we
And
have.
I can't wait for 2026 is going to be incredible.
Yep. Great stuff coming. Great stuff coming.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Love you, man.
Absolutely. Go out there and build win, guys.
Let's go do
Build
it.
wins, guys. Sorry. Snaggle tooth.
That's right. That's right. Well, there's a resemblance, but that's okay.
That's right.
All
Bye-bye,
right.
guys.